If there's one exam students constantly underestimate, it might be the Biology EOC. Because people hear biology and think memorization, definitions, vocabulary, flashcards. Simple. But then the exam hits and suddenly it's genetics crosses, cell transport, photosynthesis, ecology relationships, evolution evidence, and data interpretation all at once. And that's when people realize the Biology EOC is not just about remembering facts. It's about understanding systems. And that changes everything. Some students call it one of the easier science exams. Others treat it like an absolute nightmare. So what's the truth? Honestly, both sides have a point. Because Biology EOC isn't usually hard because the concepts are impossible. It feels hard when students study it the wrong way. That's the real trap. The biggest mistake people make? Trying to memorize biology like a glossary. Huge mistake. Because this exam loves application. It doesn't just ask what mitochondria do. It may ask how cellular respiration changes if oxygen levels drop. It doesn't just ask what natural selection means. It may give data and force you to interpret evolution from evidence. That's different. That's reasoning. And that's why students who only memorize often struggle. Now here's where the exam actually becomes manageable. Patterns. Biology is loaded with patterns. Once you see them, the subject gets easier fast. Cells. Genetics. Energy flow. Feedback loops. Everything connects. And once you study relationships instead of isolated facts, things start clicking. Now let's talk about the unit students usually fear most. Genetics is a big one. Punnett squares look easy until probability starts mixing with inheritance patterns. Dominant. Recessive. Codominance. Mutations. Meiosis. Suddenly people panic. And meiosis alone trips up tons of students. Even AP Bio students regularly call it one of the harder recurring concepts. Then there's cell processes. Photosynthesis. Cell respiration. Enzymes. Transport. Students mix these up constantly. Especially when questions shift from definitions into process diagrams. And that's where careless mistakes happen. Then ecology. Ironically, many students think ecology will be easy. Then food webs, carrying capacity, succession, cycles, symbiosis, population graphs show up. And people realize ecology questions can be sneaky. Very sneaky. But here's the good news. Biology EOC often rewards concept mastery over extreme detail. That matters. Because it means if you know the major systems well, you can outperform students trying to memorize every tiny fact. That's a huge advantage. Now let's talk study strategy. Most students waste too much time rereading notes. Passive studying feels productive. But usually isn't. Practice questions matter more. Way more. Use diagrams. Label processes. Redraw cycles. Work genetics problems. Quiz yourself. Explain concepts out loud. That's active learning. And it sticks. Students who do this often improve much faster.